What's up, guys? Mega Bleeder here with another episode of Star Technology. In between the episodes, I did do a stream over at twitch.tv/Mega Bleeder. So if you're interested in seeing those, I don't have a regular streaming schedule, but usually it's during the week, during the afternoon Eastern time. So head over to Twitch, drop a follow there. Between the episodes, I went ahead and set up a couple more things. Let me navigate through here. We did some more MV stuff, some more some more, oh, I'm dying here. Some more resource production. There we go. We got some more stuff set up as well as updating the pack. I actually had the lead kind of pack dev reach out to me on Discord about updating the pack. So we are in the most current version of the pack. But today what we're going to do is make a push into getting AE2 set up. So let's get started. So between the episodes, I'll walk you through. We've got Cooper-Nickel stuff set up. I went ahead and set up an alloy smelter here, our MV line. We've got Cooper-Nickel resources set up there. I do have steel, magnetic rods automatically being produced over here. I do have a block cutter, and I just put some Certus quartz, some diamond plates in there. In here, we're processing our rare ore residue and our rare ore slurry into the resources that it gets. So the void ore miner, this guy, the void extractor controller, we get the rare ore residue and the rare ore slurry. The rare ore residue can be processed in an electrolyzer into chromite sludge, rare earth sludge, vanadium magnetite sludge, cobaltite sludge, and skystone dust, as well as more rare ore slurry. And then all of that gets produced or processed in a centrifuge into crushed lepidolite, pyrochlor, and pyrolusite, as well as getting us some mixed mineral residue, mixed or molten ore mixture. These we're not processing yet, but the residues we are. So the residues come out and we're actually processing them into vanadium magnetite, and then the vanadium magnetite is getting processed into vanadium and magnetite. We're also getting chromite, rare earth, and cobaltite. Those do have further processing, but a lot of the processing I believe that we're doing right now, I am going to end up changing out in the future for just a better ore processing factory altogether. I also started using laser IO, so we're probably going to transition into using laser IO where is needed instead of the pipes from the pipes mod. These will be a little bit easier to set up and they're easier to link, and the crafting is not difficult at all with these, so we'll be switching over to using those. What else did I set up? Okay, I set up an EBF here, processing vanadium steel. So back here, we're crushing steel into steel dust. That's being stored. We're mixing chromium, vanadium, and steel dust into vanadium steel dust. And then that is being processed in this EBF. It's a little bit slow, takes 80 seconds, but now that will be a quest complete here. Material for your next cutting blade. So getting the advanced cutter so we can cut wafers from silicone boules, which are used for better circuit recipes. And I do want to make a note because I get some comments frequently on the videos about efficiency and about how, you know, this is more efficient and that is more efficient. And what I wanted to point out was that our MV kind of circuit area that we set up over here, you know, people are like, oh, just do some batch crafting. And then once you get to AE2, then it's easier. I literally have 2,000 MV circuits. And we have 2,000 LV circuits. And that's the only reason we only have 2,000 is because I have not upgraded the drawer. Like, these have been producing. If I had set a bigger drawer on this, we'd probably have 16,000, because everything that I have built over here while this is running, I'm making LV circuits. And the same thing over here. All the extra stuff that I've built over here while I was building it, MV circuits were just continuously pumping away. So eventually when we move into the HV circuit, which is probably this one. This is probably the first one that we get our hands on. Like, by the time that we get here and we set up this production, which doesn't look like it'll be too terrible other than the wafers, like, it'll just sit and produce HV circuits. And then, you know, before we know it, we'll have 2,000 HV circuits. So also, since updating the pack, I had an issue with the magnet not working. Yeah, and turns out if you right click it, you can change the whitelist and blacklist. So it wasn't working because it was set on a whitelist, so it wasn't picking anything up. So I just changed it so that now I'm not picking up eggs. It's blacklisting eggs, and you can see this chicken over here reminded me of that. So now I don't have to worry about picking up eggs, but anything else will get picked up. So our goal today is going to be to push through the wafers, get to the MV energy hatch so that we can start making Canthol, get Canthol coils so that we can process silicon, so that we can get into AE2. So one of the first things that we're going to need is this advanced cutter. And I do have that saved. It's right here. So we're just going to need to process the vanadium magnetite. Let's see, advanced cutter. What do we need? We're going to need an electrical motor. I might as well set this way. This like so. We need aluminum rods. Let's just take 8 of them for now. A motor. A conveyor belt. I did not save that recipe. We need 2 more motors. Now we just need the vanadium magnetite, or the vanadium steel. And we will go ahead and save this, so it's going to be on circuit 1. It's already on circuit 1. So we'll take those. We'll make our blade. There we go. And finally, the cutter. So the cutter, I believe, is also going to need lubricant. We're going to put it directly across from this one. And we're going to tear these down. We're going to tear this whole fluid cable down. And instead of pumping it out from there, we get to the back of this, we cannot. So we're just going to swap these out for laser IO. Those will go in there. That one's going to need to go there. If we go into laser IO, let's go ahead and grab some laser connectors. We'll pop one there. We're going to connect these, and this Hopefully we'll reach. There we go. This is going to be a fluid export. This is a fluid export. This will be a fluid insert. Yes, fantastic. Now we need to come up here and connect this guy, because they're both going to need that. Now the wafers, it's telling me the wafer, the silicone boule, we can cut it with lubricant. And we will, just because it'll be fast. Anything that we want to cut in here is going to cut way faster. Let's see. I don't really want these to clip through anything. Yeah, that'll run right across. And then we can... These should be adjustable. Oh, the alpha that way? Wrench alpha. There we go. That's what I want it to look like. But we want to change this color. I like it actually as white. I like that. So in laser IO, we're going to need more of these. More fluid cards. Get a bunch of these crafted up. And then in here, you're going to be an insert. You're going to be an insert. Yes, so you're getting a lubricant. Fantastic. And then the only thing left to do now is put wafers in there. And apparently I don't have those linked. No, I do. Oh, they're boules. My bad. So we can pop these in there. Excellent. That's going to get us the wafer. We're going to need the laser engraver as well. Advanced laser engraver, machine hull. 2 pistons, which means we need 2 motors. We should probably grab some aluminum and put that through the lathe. The cutter, it says 2, extruder is 2, lathe is 2. But does it have to be? Nope, it can be an LV lathe. Okay. Let's grab some of those rods. Is there anything in here that's not saved? This one. Electrum rods. Those are also in a lathe. Let's grab another hopper. Have enough of those rods. small gear. 2 small gears, actually. 2 pistons. So all we need is the electrum rods. Very slow. It's very, very slow. Holy. Laser engraver. Pop him down right there. We got that. We've got our silicon wafers. Whole bunch of them. Every boule needs to be cut down into wafers for further processing. All right. Okay, so the HV circuit, but we're not crazy worried about the HV circuit yet. I know that we're going to need an assembler. Let's go ahead and get one of these guys done. Grab a couple of machine hulls. I think we're going to have to swap our electrum and our aluminum back. And motors. 2 belts. 2 gears. 2 pistons. 1 more rod. Or robot arm. Bam. Advanced assembler. That'll go right there. What else? You should be starting to get the hang of it. A higher tier machine allowing for more recipes, doing the previous ones faster. Okay, so the UPLIC wafer and chip. This chip is used for creating an energy hatch that gives MV power to multiblocks as well as transforming power to MV. Okay, so any blue lens, sapphire lens, in an LV lathe or a sapphire plate. 60 seconds. Does this get us a block? And then we can just pop it in there. And then the sapphire lens goes in an MV lathe. We need an MV lathe. Sure, why not? Let's grab these. Let's grab this guy. Bam, and then pop one of those in there. That's going to take 1 minute. What else are we missing from up here? The energy acceptor. Star steel plate. How do we get a star steel ingot? Alloy smelter? Skystone and steel? Okay. Skystone. 2 stacks of steel. Oop, it has to be in an MV alloy smelter. No problem. There's not a way to make the dust, is there? Nope. Look at that. We literally had everything to make an LV alloy smelter. Let's grab another hopper. Bing. Pop those in there so it'll just stay running. And you know what? We're going to grab another hopper. Just to pull it out of there. Why not? Sapphire lens, small pile of sapphire dust. Is this used for anything? No, not really. We'll just pop that in the system. Okay, the UPLIC chips. This is going to go in a laser engraver. MV laser engraver. Okay. Now, what about these RAM chips? Okay. Those go in with a green lens. The IC chips, these are for better circuits here. Okay. So I'm not terribly worried about either of these just yet. It's just these guys. So if we pop a lens in there and pop that in there, that's going to work for quite a bit, 45 seconds. Okay. We can take star steel ingots out. Then we'll put them in a bender, an LV bender. On one, right? Yes. So that's going to get us our energy acceptor. The ULPIC wafer. And then the chip is just a cutter, an MV cutter. And lubricant is fine. Let's put this boule away. Silicon wafers are set. We're making star steel ingots. We'll pull all of these out. Dump them in the system. And then we need the energy acceptor. We just need quartz glass, which is simple enough. Boom, energy acceptor. Power hatch for your ME network. Applied energistics. Printed circuits, applied energistics. Where is this at? Automation age? Oh, right here. So it all starts from this guy. Infinity range booster. Yeah, this should be pretty slick. We're moving right along. We just need to get into our cutter to get our chips here. The ULPIC chips. Sweet. And now we can make the MV energy hatch, which I have saved right there. And we might have everything for that other than the medium voltage coil. So let's grab fine aluminum wire. So it's going to be aluminum in a wire mill. And that's on circuit 3. Let's get both of these running. And this is 1 to 16. So we'll wait for this to come through. And like a whole stack. There we go. And these are in an MV assembler on circuit 1. Those are going. Okay. And that will be everything that we need. And that's going to let us upgrade our EBFs. We should probably get a 16 amp energy converter. Pop those in there. We'll get one more of these medium voltage coils. Sweet. We take 12 of these guys. And we do this. Okay, that should be running. And we can craft one of these. Almost. We have one. Okay. Let's clean up our inventory a little bit. That's good. That's good. That can go there. Silicon wafers, sapphire plates. We're not hurting for those. These guys can go in there. Just waiting on this guy to move a little bit faster. Did I make an LV wire mill yet? Or an MV one? Nope, let's go ahead and do that. Wire mill. MV wire mill. 4 motors. And an advanced wire mill. Bam. So let's grab some signalum. And the big signalum on a wire mill is 16. Grab another one. I have this downgraded, but the signalum's not quite fast enough yet. So we've got that. And that's going to use signalum wire. And we're going to need... We only need 1, 2, 3, 4. We only need 4 MV energy hatches. But I kind of want 8. And I think we have the resources. Yeah, we do have the resources to be able to make 8. The energy hatch. We do. What do we just need? More of the cables? Actually, no. If I want to make 8 hatches... we can do that. And that upgrades our whole entire EBF line. Do I have a ladder leading up there? I don't. Let's get one. And we're going to take that. We're going to take those. We are going to replace these. MV energy hatches. get them hooked up with MV cables. Like so. Grab our wire cutters so that we can connect these. Now, I think that we're creating enough power. Okay, EBF line. If I do this, and then this. And then I have to actually connect the power. Like that. All right, let's see. 15 seconds. Okay, so this is not transferring enough energy. It's not. Okay. So I think the situation that we're in is that we're not pulling enough energy. Because these transfer 8192. But I'm not sure if that's just through that one line. And if that's the case, well, it should be able to transfer 8 times 8, that's 64. That should be able to transfer everything. These are significantly faster. Charcoal. Okay, we have not started to back up on charcoal yet. How do I have just bone meal and sugar getting picked up so much? Something wrong over here? Why are you not working? Sugar cane. Bone meal. In the farmer. Oh, something has been changed. Requires daytime to work. Uh-oh. I did not know that this got changed. Crop greenhouse. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So we need new multi-blocks. Because these don't work anymore. That is interesting to find out. That could be a big problem. Sugar, bone meal. Yeah, that could be a big problem. We're going to have to solve that here pretty soon. mean, granted, these aren't making that much power. 900? Where are diamonds? I think we are a net loss on diamonds. These are fully upgraded. Oh, it looks like maybe we're starting to get these worked out. Maybe I should disconnect these. We'll take this and underclock it. If I disconnect it, what does that do? Should probably grab an Invar casing and just replace it. Probably this one too. Yeah, so now they're back to running at MV, which means they are slow. Maybe we'll swap the aluminum one. Actually, I think it's okay. It's okay as it is. Okay, so we'll leave those for a minute. It looks like they're working okay. How well are these going? They're doing all right. I think I'm going to have to swap out. Really don't want to swap out these cables because I like the way that they look, but I don't think that we're going to be able to transfer power fast enough using just these. So what else do we have left? We've got the MV energy hatch. So now we can get our EBFs to run at HV. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to have more EBFs that we need to set up. So we're not even going to be able to run these at HV just yet. But we'll leave them connected so we can change it later. Change it back later. We're going to leave them running at MV because we need to get Canthol. So Canthol, that needs to be in an HV blast furnace, but it can be done with cupronickel. I don't have enough cupronickel coils, but we can make more. These are made with cupronickel wire and bronze. The 2x cupronickel and bronze. Now the bronze foil is to 4. So if we get a stack on the bender in on 10. Bender on 10. Bender on 10. Okay. So we have room if we get out our linking tool. With our linking tool, we're not going to have enough room to squeeze another EBF down here, but we can put one. I was thinking about that. I think we're going to put them over here. So if we grab another EBF, we're going to place it down right there. It's going to be hooked up like that. We're going to need an input hatch because we're making hot Canthol. So one ULV input bus here. We're going to need a maintenance hatch That's going to go there. We do need to expand out our little platform down here, so we're going to need more brass. Where is bottom of our platform? Right here. So we just need a little bit more scaffold. That needs to come out. One more, two more. And if we do bars and we do it on a line, like so. Easy expansion there. We'll take our maintenance hatch. Click him down. Whoops. And then screwdriver, just pretty much everything. Don't need the ladder. We'll put the bars away. All of it. Okay, here we go. Back up here. Grab a couple of foils. And then this is an assembler with liquid tin alloy. We can drop that in there. We've got more liquid tin alloy in here. To do those. Okay. And now our assembler picked up everything. We'll take these. There's no use for these other than popping them in the cutter, so we'll just drop them in there. And if we come down here to our EBF, we can grab a couple of our coils and get this started. This is going to need MV energy hatches, which need to be rotated up. And also a muffler hatch. Like so. And then we're going to need to run a cable over to this. These are all inputs. I'm going to think if I should just run one of these over or actually put down another energy converter. We could put down another energy converter. That'll be fine. We follow the same pattern. This way. We can connect it right there. Can't really get up there. I don't like the way that clips through there. Don't like the way that clips through there. We'll move that. Okay, and then we just need an output bus, and they are on this side like this. So all we need now is a couple more coils. And some heat-proof cases. We should have an HV EBF that will be capable of hooking up Canthol, which is iron, aluminum, and chromium in an MV mixer. Now, I do not have an MV mixer, but we can get one. I feel like maybe I do have an MV mixer. Maybe not. No, I guess not. But we can make one. We have the technology. Bam. And then finally, Canthol dust. It's iron, aluminum, and chromium. Iron dust. We don't have a lot, but there's some over here. We have aluminum, and we have chromium. Circuit 1. Bam, bam, bam. Sweet. Okay, so how long does that take? It takes 15 seconds. And then in the EBF, it takes 45 seconds. And we're going to get a hot Canthol ingot. To process that, we're going to need a chemical bath with distilled water or regular water. Doesn't matter which one. Because this takes 45 seconds. So if we just did water, that would be fine. But we need a chemical bath. So we need a pump, which would be this recipe. Steel fluid pipe. Easy. Easy game. So the issue is anything that comes out as a hot ingot is going to need to go into here. We can easily solve that with toms. We've been doing stuff like this for a minute. And we should be able to do an item tag filter. Emerald plate, emerald block. We should be able to do an item tag filter. And do hot. Wild card. Let's see, tags come in. Forge namespace is assumed if one is provided. Example, dust, gold, circuits, ILV, or wild card. Should be able to just do star hot. We do F3H, turn on tooltips, hot underscore ingots. Hot underscore ingots. Now, if we put a robot arm on here, and we put this filter in here, and we set it to import, keep exact. And we're going to need distilled water. So let's do this. Connect you there. Now I'm curious if there's enough range to get you to connect there. Yes. I don't think there's enough range to get you to connect there. No, I didn't think so. But we could put one in the middle. That. And connect you to there. Yep. And I'm going to need filters. This is going to need a filter for lubricant. Lubricant, there we go. And that's an allow list. This is going to need a filter. It's an insert filter. Distilled water. And I should be able to connect that here. And then down here, you should be an extract. And that should put distilled water in here. Ooh, all right, all right, all right. Let's take out our Canthol dust. And pop that down here into our input hatch. On circuit 1. Because we don't have nitrogen in here. So on circuit 1. Now that's lit up and running. Okay, in 45 seconds, we're getting Canthol. So let's grab a drawer. Set you up there. Lock you and link you. So once we set this up, once the hot ingot comes out of here, let's remove it. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Didn't I just remove it? Yes, remove. Unlock. Boom. Hot Canthol ingot. So we're going to lock it. Now we're going to add it. Now it should have gotten pulled out and it's automatically in here. Yes. Yeah. This we can throw away. We don't need this purified coal. So now this filter that's in here will pull in any hot ingot and pop it right into there with that distilled water. Now all we need is this Canthol to come out. Yep, boom. We just kind of saw it flash right there going in there. Now we take the Canthol ingot out. This is connected to that network. I might as well connect it to this network. Truth be told, so I don't know how Tom's works. I could set this to export up here and it'll push it back into the system. I just don't know if it'll push it back into the system where I want it to be, which would likely be a designated drawer. We'll probably put another one down. Let's try that. So I've got two here. Allow input from output side. So that output from there. Did that pop it in here? It did. Look at that. Okay, cool. Okay. So the only thing we would really need to do is move this mixer then downstairs for iron, aluminum, and chromium to get that to work permanently. And this is working okay on power, right? Despite it running in HV. And we're running fine over here too. Okay, so we've got Canthol. We've got Canthol cooking up. We've got 4 ingots of it. Let's take a look at our quest. Next material for coils. Not easy to get. Fantastic. Canthol coil blocks. Ooh, that's going to need the wire and liquid copper. That's easy enough. Liquid copper is just copper ingots. Yeah, copper ingots, liquid copper. Canthol coil, aluminum foils, not bad. Canthol wire. So one of those equals a 2x. So to be able to make a complete Canthol coil, which is what we need for silicon, we need a total of 16 blocks. So we're going to need 16 Canthol ingots, which doesn't seem like it's going to take that long to get. So what we can do is get a further system set up here. We can run it in MV. So that's nice. We'll just run it with 1 MV energy hatch. We don't need any of the LV ones. Let's put those away. We don't need an LV energy converter or cupronickel coils. We will need more Invar casings, though. So if we take the plates, the casing, Invar rods, that's an assembler on 6. Is that not right? Invar, oh, Invar frame. The frame needs to be on 4. We need to make a bunch of frames first. Let's get the rest of this guy set up. So, an EBF. We're going to steal one of these back. That's going to go there. The coils are going to go here. EBF's frame dealies are going to go there. We know that we need a muffler hatch. We know that we need a maintenance hatch. The maintenance hatch is going to go here. Has to face that way. It doesn't go there. My bad. It goes here. We just need screwdriver, soft mallet, hard hammer. Lost my screwdriver again. I don't know why it always feels like it has to take it out of my inventory. Maintenance hatch. These should be about done. There we go. That's on 6. There we go. We just need a couple of these. It's an input bus. Out of these. Out of ULV. Machine cases. Just take a bunch of them. Input hatch and an output hatch. Output's going to go there. Input's going to go there. Coils go there. Muffler. Invar casing. Muffler gets flipped around. More of those. Let's take these out of here. And then just one energy hatch. And where's our ladders? There we go. So all we need now is the coils. And the coils... We needed... Was it 6? No, we needed 12 for the Canthol coil. Oh, it takes 8 to make one of those. Okay, so let's do this. Canthol coils, we'll call it that. Aluminum foil will be this. So 2 aluminum and 8 Canthol. And did we make... We made a better wire mill, right? Yes. So let's take those. And let's set this to 16. Ooh, no, I was way off. I'm going to need 128 Canthol. Okay. So we're going to need half a stack of aluminum. And that's going to come from circuit 10, bender. That can just go in there. We need a lot more Canthol. So I think what I'm going to do is let my Canthol sit and run until we get enough to get these coils. Because I was way off when I did my math. Yeah, because I need 16 blocks. So 16 Canthol coils is going to require us to have 128 Canthol ingots. This is running at HV, 45 seconds. I could make it faster by a little bit if we were putting nitrogen in there. Seems like we do have a surplus of nitrogen. Let's do an input bus. Input hatch. And then we're going to change Canthol to circuit 2. That should finish this recipe, but then the next one won't finish. We're going to need to set up this guy here and there. You're going to be an output or an extract. On the insert, you're going to be here. That's going to be an insert. Is this going to be too far away? Yes. You are also going to be an insert. Yep, so you've got nitrogen. You've got nitrogen. This needs to be an insert, but it needs to be whitelisted. Filter. Deny. Nitrogen. Nitrogen gas, nitrogen plasma. Yes. Because the air gets used and it makes oxygen and nitrogen. So this should be significantly faster, 30 seconds. Okay. And these, if we set that all the way like that, change wrench alpha like that. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording here. Oh, I think the new update, it has this thing here. Thank you for 1 million. I think this is 1 million downloads. I think that's what this is representing here, which is pretty neat. So I am going to let this sit till it gets us crafted up 128 Canthol ingots. And then I'll be back. All right. Good news and bad news. Good news is we've got Canthol. So I left this to run and actually like went and had dinner, and it's actually a totally new day since the last clip, since the last little edit there. And I came back and saw that we had a ton of Canthol and was like, cool. But I saw the EBF wasn't running and the other EBFs weren't running and everything was out of power. You can see here even, oh, well, these look like they're out of power because these are flipped. But we ran out of power. We ran out of diamonds. So to kind of supplement that, I had to bootstrap the system a little bit. So what I did was came over to the biodiesel plant, and we were kind of suspecting we might have issue with biodiesel because they changed the way the farmers work. So during the daytime, these farmers do not, or during the nighttime, the farmers do not work at all. And also they don't have the faster recipe that they did have before. So it used to be that in the farmer, there were a couple different recipes and it would depend on which type of fertilizer you gave it. And we were actually giving them a better fertilizer. We were giving them bone meal, but that doesn't matter anymore. In the crop greenhouse is where that matters now. So we're going to have to change up these farmers to be electricity powered, which I don't think will be too big of a deal, but it is going to take up a little bit more space. This looks to me like it's a 7x7. So we're going to have to change up the way things work a little bit over here. But we do have power. Everything had completely stopped. It was pretty bad. We had completely ran out of diesel. But luckily, these windmills, if you remember, these still produce like 8,000 stress units. And then we're also still hooked up to the water wheels here. So pretty much I just needed to go through and unhook things. I needed to unhook all of this. You know, these things are using up 1,000 stress units. These are using up 500. So there was just a bunch of stuff that I had to go through and disconnect to get the system to turn back on. And then as you can see here, I kind of spammed. There are 19 in total mechanical users here, or mechanical or modular routers, all of them with activator modules. And these two are actually also getting extra sand just to kind of supplement this one. So I have this one also sped up. This one only has 15, but this one's also sped up just to make sure that this one kind of gets enough sand. But we have increased our diamond throughput. I came back and actually all of these were offline. They were all empty. We had 0 diamonds, but since I've kind of bootstrapped the system there and got everything back running, we do have a net positive of diamonds. I'm not 100% certain if that will continue to be the case. Once everything over here is turned on. Not certain why this isn't working. It might be because there's no nitrogen in here. No, there's nitrogen. Oh, it probably needs maintenance, I'm guessing. No, it doesn't need maintenance. What's wrong with these? Fine, it's fine. Why is this not working? Oh, it's because it's full. Duh, dummy. This one's not full, so what's wrong with this one? Oh, I think it's because I'm over the limit. Yeah, these are over the limit. So that redstone torch is on, that redstone torch is on. Okay, so I got that caught back up. So while I was kind of setting everything to bootstrap, I did go ahead and run a bunch of Canthol through the wire mill and got our aluminum, ran through the bender, and I also did some extraction on our liquid copper. So now, boom, check that out. 16 Canthol coils. Now all we need to do is come down here. Not that one. And once we place this down, this last coil block right here, it should form and turn on. Fairly different than the copper nickel. But now we're processing silicon ingots. And because of the way our system works, with the hot ingots, once we place that guy down there, it's going to automatically extract at the end of the 60 seconds that hot ingot into this drawer. And we'll configure it because we need to pick it up anyway. Canthol coils are the second tier of coils. Sweet. So now it's making the hot ingot. Now you've cooled your first silicon ingots. You can finally make use of all the silicon that's been lying around your base. Problem is, this is just going to be real slow for making these. So we'll probably pick this up to HV. I should consider using this recipe, the carbon and the silicon oxide. Hot silicon. We store that. Now immediately, when we link this, we're going to see it disappear. And now it's in the chemical bath, making a silicon ingot. And if we change this so it does not auto output, bam, silicon ingot. Change this back to auto output. Oh, interesting. So if you change this to output, we can modify the stuff there. Does that work here too? What is this machine? The centrifuge. Okay, so if we click the side, the block face, it's showing us there's a robot arm there. Ew. Filter. Import. Keep exact. Okay. So the silicon ingot goes in here. Did it make any more of those? It did not. Cool. Very cool. So now we've got silicon coming through. Where does that leave us? We need to get into the printed circuits. We need the inscriber presses, which means we're going to need a forming press. MV forming press. Okay. That's no big deal. We got this guy, 2 gears. Bam, forming press. This has been kind of a spot for manual machines. So if we go applied energistics, we know we're going to need these. The silicon press, silicon dust, double steel. Double steel, double steel, double steel. Double star steel. We do have some star steel plates. We'll start off. These are really simple. Let's take 2 ingots or 2 plates. Let's go ahead and switch our bender over to 2. We're going to need this many. Because this is used to make these, which is only used to make these. And there aren't other circuits that we need to make these with. It's just these. The processors. Yeah, there's not any special AE2 processor. Well, the accumulation, we can't get that. Okay. So we don't need those. These are going to take silicon dust. Right, that's 1. Yep, so that goes there. And then we need gold. We need diamond. And we need Certus. These all go in here. Forming press. Why is this not working? Crafting presses are obtained by breaking mysterious cubes. Mysterious cubes are center meteorites. Okay, that's not anything. MV. This is MV. Silicon dust. Oh, the double steel plates. My bad, my bad. Did I make a metal press or a bender? I did not. It should be bender on 2. Nope, it's going to be an MV bender. Look at that. No batch crafting. Just pulling items straight from the inventories. Yeah. Okay. So those can just go in there. And then these guys, once they're done, they can just get dropped in there. Bam. Bam. What's that? Compressor? Like a little bit of sound. Okay, that's going to give us this, which gives us the ability to make those. These are made in alloy smelters, so let's go ahead and get... we're going to be making 2, 4, 6... 9. 9 alloy smelters is what we're going to need. Of the MV variant, 9 smelters. We're also going to need copper nickel. Let's craft a bunch of these up. The 4X. Bam, there we go. So we'll take those 2. And then I think what we'll probably do... There is enough room over here. So after we make this... After we make this, it's just an alloy smelter. It's the printed circuit and this. So that should be pretty easy to automate. I will need 2 item input spots. So if we bring these... over here. Why did I think that I needed 9? Shouldn't be 9. Should only be the 1. Or the only, these aren't in the right spot. I gotta fix this. Just noticed these were not in the right spot. Silicon press. So 1 would go there. 1 would go there. 1 would go there. I think I made too many of the other ones too, didn't I? I don't know why I felt it was going to be my... Oh, yeah, so I screwed that up. Okay. Why did I decide to do that? should be one of each. I don't need the extra ones just yet. I need 2 more star steel plates. That's going to get us, it's the logic one, right? Yes. I don't need all of these either. I only needed 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go ahead and take those to you. That guy. Okay, so from here, if we take a look at the silicon press, this takes silicon plates. So we're going to have to drastically increase our silicon production. Drastically increase our silicon production. But over here, if we go silicon, calculation, silicon, engineering, silicon, and then logic. That's a calculation we don't need. We don't need those. Then we go atoms. We're going to need 6 of those. We'll take these cables out. And we should be able to put robot arms on these. Allow input from output side. If we use these properly, should be pretty easy. So this one is calculation, which is a Certus quartz plate. Okay, so I'm probably going to have to set up plate crafting, diamonds, gold, yes, and silicon. So that means we're going to need the cutters. We could use a compressor for that one. This one needs a cutter. This one, a bender would work fine. This one, a bender would work fine. The problem is we've got 1 silicon ingot. It takes a whole entire minute to smelt one up. Okay. So it's going to be a little bit slow going to get there. We have 2001 diamonds. Looks like we might be net positive slightly on diamonds. Okay, so I think taking a look at this, more of the infrastructure that we're going to need, I think this is going to be a good spot to wrap up the episode. We got our inscriber presses, which is awesome. We are, the link machine is an amazing way to do fast in smelting bulk. Why do they want us to make the multi-smelter? Very useful in making printed circuits. Why is it very useful when making printed circuits? Because of the alloy smelter like this. Okay. Okay. I guess. I mean, I'm going to passive them. But, so right here, we are standing on the doorstep of AE2. So the next episode, we will look at stretching into AE2 a little bit more. Actually, the next episode is probably going to be more so about power production. And I think I know a good area where we can put a nice little power generating base. And we're going to also have to revamp the way that we do our ore production and ore processing, because running out of diamonds when our whole entire base runs on diamonds was kind of sketchy. So remember, if you are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscription button, hit the like button, leave a comment what you liked or maybe didn't like. Do keep in mind, like I've said before in the comments, I get lots of people that want to remind me of the more efficient ways to do things. And I'm not super concerned about being ultra efficient with every single processing recipe that we run. It's more so about having fun and setting up these factories that are fun to walk around in and fun to be in and fun to look at. But thanks for stopping in.